Hello, this is Thomas J. Linneman, author of Social Statistics, Managing Data, Conducting Analyses, Presenting Results. This is the SPSS demonstration for Chapter 1 on how to compute a new variable. Sometimes you'll want to create variables by recoding original variables. Other times you may want to create new variables by combining variables in a variety of ways. So we may want to add them together. We may later on in the book, you'll find out we even may want to multiply them together or square the same variable. And to do any of these, we're going to go to the transform compute variable box. So we're going to go into here. And here we tell it the name of our new variable, and in this case it's going to be xy pol engage. We're going to do an index of political engagement, xy pol engage. So that's the name of our new variable. Then there's this little equal sign, and then over in the numeric expression box is where we're going to tell it in this case, what original variables we're going to add together. So we're going to do an additive index. And the three variables I'm going to include in here are pol disk days. So I'm going to click on that variable and click this little arrow to move it over. And then I'm going to do the plus button. And my next variable is going to be Newsweek. Move that over and add one more variable, and that is Media Soc. Move that over. So xy pol engage is going to be equal to pol disk days plus Newsweek plus Media Soc. Now if you wanted to give the variable a label here, you could. You could do that here. I'm going to do it a little bit later in the data window in just a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and create the variable. I'm going to click OK. And it shoots me to the output window because it puts in a little bit of code there. I'm going to go back to my data window and I'm going to scroll all the way to the right, and our new variable should be there. There we go. Now, one thing we want to do with an index like this is, we want to give the variable a label, but we also want to give the extreme values a label. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see what my extreme values are. Now, technically, theoretically, they should be 0, meaning someone got a 0 plus a 0 plus a 0. They're never engaged. And then the top should be 21. And we see some of those right here. And those are people who answered 7 days a week for each of the three variables. 7 times 3 is 21. So, but let's see if, sometimes you have these theoretical extremes, but they don't exist in reality. You may think you should have someone at 0 on your index, but really the lowest value is 1 or 2 or something like that. So giving the 0 a label doesn't do any good because no one's gonna be that value. So let's go to run a frequency distribution of that variable. And at xy pol engage. And I'm going to click OK and see it ranges from 0 up to 21. But notice it doesn't have this, if we gave this to someone, say, hey, look at this index I created, they'd be like, okay, what does it mean? What is this xy pol engage? What is 0? What's 21? No, we want to give things labels to make things clear. So we're going to go back to the data window, and I'm going to go to the variable view, And I'm going to go here. I'm going to get rid of those decimal places. And I'm going to call this index of political engagement. And then that'll be the value label, and then that's the variable label, and then we want to go into this value label box where it currently says none. So we click there, a little button pops up. We're going to click there. Now we don't need to give 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't need to give every single value a label. That would be a little too much detail, but the extremes definitely. So the extreme of 0 we're going to call never engaged. Add. And the other extreme is 21, and we'll call that fully engaged. Click add and OK. And now all of that appears there. Now when I go back up, analyze descriptive statistics frequencies, and I run it again, now it says index of political engagement, never engaged, fully engaged. This is much more clear. Okay, so that is how you create an additive index. Again, you will be using this box to add variables together, but also later on in the book, in further SPSS demonstrations, you'll be using it to multiply variables or to square variables, all kinds of things. But that is enough for now. That is the end of this SPSS demonstration.